Right now, N.W.A.'s Fuck the Police is seeing a remarkable increase in streaming numbers. It's up something like 287% week on week, according to Alpha Data, who handle the data behind Rolling Stone's own music charts. And that is, of course, against the backdrop of protests all over the country against racism and police brutality. We played a bit of it on the show a couple years ago, but we're going to start off with a segment that's never been heard before. Let's get right to that. Where were you during when the verdict came in and the riots started? Like, what was your actual experience of all that?
I was, it's a trip because I had just moved that day. The moving van came and moved. I was moving out of the hood to a bigger and better house.
Well,
it was that day, April 29th, 1992. Earlier that day before the verdict, I remember going to the new house, telling my wife the moving van, opening the new house and making sure everything was working, lights, boom, got the key from the like escrow people and all that shit. And it was like the moving van is gonna get our few things and then just follow them out to the house. So she followed them out to the house. So they was unpacking the house, and I had a meeting at Universal. So I went up there for the meeting, and then during the meeting, they walked in and it was like, yo, the verdict came in and it's not good. So, and I was like, what? Because, you think they got him on tape.
got him on tape. Fucking,
barely paying attention to the trial. Yeah. Like, man, you got their ass. And I was like, not guilty. So my head was kind of fucked up. I didn't want to finish the meeting. I was like, man, I'm kind of done. I just wanted to get home, went to the house, and started hearing the shit was going down. So next day I drove down back into the hood to check on my old house, because we was in the new one, but we hadn't sold the old one yet. So I'm just checking on my shit, making sure they didn't come up there and burn me down, fuck it up, or loot it. You see everybody's looting and running around like a fucking crazy. Make sure there ain't guy in my neighborhood that got killed. And that day, April 30th, he was supposed to go down and see his body over at the funeral home, which was right in the middle of the shit. So that's why you see me driving through.
Yeah.
And get over there to the funeral home. And the other guys is like, man, what the fuck are you doing down here? Don't worry about this shit, man. You shouldn't be driving through this shit, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking, you don't know what can happen, so. Shit, man, I was coming down here to show my respect. They ain't check on my house, so whatever. And, that was kind of my experience with it. And then just going back to my new house and shit.
But you saw them tearing shit up. You saw it all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shit on fire. Alright.
What did you think?
What do you expect when you abuse people? They supposed to just take it. The dog won't even take you hit a dog enough, his ass is gonna start biting back.
Right.
An animal wouldn't even. Ain't even the laws of the animal to take abuse. So, people who keep feeling like they need to oppress us and keep their foot on our necks, what do they expect us to do? It's only natural. They call Ferguson and Baltimore, LA riots, the Watts riots. They call that a riot, but people don't know or don't realize the Boston Tea Party is a riot. It's not a party.
That's a good point.
People riot when they sick of the shit.
Yeah, well, the Boston Tea Party was property destruction.
Yeah,
it was.
Riot.
Yeah.
It's not a party. It's property destruction against the oppressive government was trying to implement some shit over the people, and they wasn't going for it.
I remember you used the word Armageddon. You saw possibly really a lot of bad shit coming at that time.
Yeah, I did. I figured we was a generation that wasn't gonna stop. But I think what really stopped us more than anything was the gang truce. I think it took a lot of our aggression to try to steer in a positive direction, which kind of took the fuel out the fire. But that lasted for years, you know. Without the gang truce, you don't have death row. Without the gang truce, I don't think you have the West Side Connection, what I would deal with Mac 10 and C.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got Tupac in that direction.
That's interesting.
Gang truce allowed a lot of things to happen that would have never happened. Crips and Bloods when they never want to work together. On no level. So that gang truce is a big part of, you know, what happened after N.W.A. Under the music.
It's also, if you listen to your albums, like in those period, there was, you know, there's a line about like what they did to JFK. What do you think they're going to do to me? There was like a certain personal, like, yeah, I think you felt targeted, or there was like a certain sense that, like, I don't know, what was going on with that?
Yeah, I felt like what I was saying was just as incendiary, just as potent as Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or anybody else. Not saying that I'm on that level, but I just know that the government has no problem with erasing you. They get tired of you. They do it to JFK.
Are you surprised they never
got shot?
Yeah. Are you surprised they never got you?
I got God on my side. That's why they ain't never got me. All I want is what any other red-blooded American would want. I'm not asking to take over and shit. I want a fair shot. Not just for me. I mean, I'm fine. If I was selfish, I'd just be happy with where I am and be like, yo, I got mine, you get yours. But trying to take over shit and not trying to overthrow the government or do nothing but just, you know, just be treated fair and equal.
You know, it's easy to forget that when N.W.A. first came out, as much as there were people in white America who were scared, offended, whatever, there also were like significant portions in the black community who wouldn't play it on the radio, thought it was a bad thing. Like,
oh yeah, you know, some people want to sweep things under the rug. Some people don't want our business to be out in the street. You know, so they get embarrassed admitting what goes on in our neighborhoods. I think we should keep that between ourselves.
Right.
That's how some of the elders. I figure they can do it how they wanted to do it when it was their time. And I got to do it how I want to do it at my time. And the youngsters behind me got to do it how they want to do it when it's their time. So people can't tell me how to live, what to say. What inspires me to make music, it's like it's none of their business. And as an artist, I shouldn't be influenced by any of them. I should just be influenced by my own creativity and art. You know, I mean, of course I'm mature. I can speak on that now. As a youngster, I used to, you know, grapple with it a little bit, but then I always was like, what I'm saying I feel is the truth. We having fun with it. It's hip hop. It's bravado. We talking shit, but at the core, what I'm saying, I feel is my true point of view. So, as an artist, I owe it to the people to give them my true point of view, and not be the artist they want me to be, or be the artist that anybody want me to be. You know, just do it how you feel it. And some people gonna like it. Some people gonna say the shit is whack. You know, some people gonna say it's uncalled for, or it's bringing us down or whatever the shit they want to say. But
the fact that Gary directed Friday and that there's a scene in this movie we were writing Friday, it's like fucking...
Yeah, it starts to... I got these moments, trust me, through the whole process. It's turning shit turning on its ear and even turning more. It's like, you know, I wrote a song called Boys in the Hood that ended up being the seed that grew straight out of Compton, the record. Through that, somebody discovered me and put me in a movie called Boys in the Hood.
Right.
And through doing that movie, I gained enough experience in the movie industry to be able to do a movie called Straight Outta Compton. So it's like, you know, doing that shit on me. And now my son is in it. And in the movie, he's like playing me and with my wife. And then you see a little version of him in the background of the movie.
Right.
It just starts to make your mind spin.
You're only 46, right? So, like, it's like you got a lot, hopefully a lot of living ahead of you.
I hope so.
But to see this shit immortalized like this, it must kind of make you think about just like the whole course of your life.
Man, my life has been an amazing ride. And what's funny is we're still on that wave from Boys in the Hood. When I wrote that song, it just never stopped. It never stopped growing, this career. So it's like to be able to do this movie and chronicle these moments, immortalize these moments, so to speak, and for them to be so real, for the cast to be so tight. Just, I couldn't have dreamed that it would come out.
This record, and then like all the records going forward, hit so big with white suburban teenagers.
Yeah.
And the more shit you talked about white people, the more they like. What? How did you always kind of make sense of that in your mind?
I just felt like, yo, I need to just tell it how I think it is. And I may be young, may not know shit about shit. But what I do know, or what I think I know, I'm going to put on these records, man, and tell it how I think it is. And I think people just like that, and they respond to that. And, you know, I was hitting some deep truths on those records, you know, that they might not learn in the history class or from their parents or whatever, but they can learn it from this music and maybe better understand themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it just, I think when you're hitting on the truth and you're striking a chord, everybody wants to be down with that. You know, everybody that has something to say, everybody that's feeling something, that want to be a part of that. You know, I used to bump like Nirvana records, right? Like, and you know, how that dude grew up, how I grew up, totally different. You know what I'm saying? But he's striking a chord, an unseen chord sometimes, of I'm feeling you as an artist. You know what I'm saying? I'm just feeling you. And you know, I might not understand every single thing you're going through, but as an artist, I'm feeling that you have passion and you have stuff to say. And if I could catch on to a couple of those things, I might be able to live my life better. I might be able to understand something I never knew.
Right, and that's how the whole thing works. Yeah.
That's how it all works. You know, it's a give and take. So, you know, artists, I never felt like, oh man, I got white kids listening to me, I need to tone it down. You know, they don't want it toned down.
Yeah.
They want it raw. Some people gonna be like turned off. Some people gonna be like, oh shit, give me more. You know, and so I go for the give me more people.
Chuck D always says that that while like classic rock acts get all this respect and get to do the big tours, it doesn't seem right that it's not quite the same in hip hop. Do you think that?
I think it's gotten better.
Yeah.
I think it's gotten better. I think it was a point where hip hop was so out with the old, in with the new. Okay, I get it. We got that. And you got, hip hop. The audience is, it stays young. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
It's always a new, younger audience discovering hip hop.
Yeah.
So they're gonna discover it and like the artists at the point that they come into it.
Yeah.
So the artists are always, it's like Menudo or some shit. It's always forever young.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it. But I believe that my generation is starting to say, hey, we still love hip hop.
Yeah.
But we don't want to see the youngsters. We want to see who we grew up on.
Right.
So we did the Kings of the Mic tour. It was me, LL, Chuck D, De La Soul. We sold out every fucking show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that to me shows if you package it right, they coming. And all the shows I'm on, How the West Was Won, or Rock the Bells tour, or wherever they put all the old school artists together,
it works.
the fuckers come out. So I think we're stepping into a new day where dudes my age ain't ready to just be like, okay, music is for youngsters. We want to go to concerts too. We want to jam too. So, it's like, I believe the market is starting to open up and people are starting to realize that I don't want to throw away my favorite artist for a new artist.
Right.
I want my favorite artist to keep doing fucking records. Forget if they on the radio. It don't matter. I want to find them and I want to go see them in concert.
There were a couple moments that, as much as N.W.A. almost got back together before Eazy's death, there also was, like, you did that semi-reunion with Snoop as an extra guy in the early 2000s, and then there was talk of an album that was going to be like These Motherfuckers Again or something like that. And and then Dre kind of pulled back, right? Was that frustrating, or did you agree with that decision ultimately?
I mean, I agree with it because, look what he pulled back from. First time it was Eminem.
Right.
He was like, yo, I got to ride that wave.
Right.
The next time it was 50 Cent.
Right.
So he was like, yo, these are two major artists and in the game too. So, it was like, do I want to try to rekindle something old, or do I want to roll with something new?
Right.
And it just makes sense to roll with the new, especially in the industry like hip hop. That's out with the old, in with the new. So, I just think you don't want to work with Dre. And you don't want to do nothing with him if he's not really all the way feeling it.
Right.
Because it's probably never going to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's never going to come out.
Right. So it's for the best.
You want to work with Dre when he's feeling it, feeling the song, feeling you. The moment in time is right, and that's how you benefit from it. If not, you just, it could be just spinning your wheels, and if he off of it, maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe we should be moving to the next.
Right.
So I take heed to it. Like, yo, maybe it ain't the time, ain't the place.
Do you have a fire to have like a hit record of your own again, or just doing it on the scale you've been doing it with indie records and just kind of hitting for your own fans? Is that cool with you, or do you think like you'd like to do it?
I mean, every artist want to be hot in the street. You know what I mean? It's like that's the fun.
Yeah. That's
the high that not too many people can achieve. Not even throughout the industry. It's only a few artists that's hot at certain times, and then you got to step aside for somebody else to be hot. So everybody want that, but to reach for that, to yearn and beg and try to go to radio and see if they still understand what I'm about and all this, it's not worth it.
Right.
What's worth it is to do what I feel and record it and kind of let the chips fall where they may, and let the fans get the pure Ice Cube and not the industry cube that's trying to get on the radio, that's trying to get his video so I can, I'm past that. I just want to be a pure artist that can just go do what I feel, put it out, and be happy with whatever it sells. Or what it don't sell. Or if people buy it at all, just hear it and like it or whatever. Just be happy with that.
Was there a point that you became less angry than not that there's any reason to be, but I mean, did you be less angry because there's plenty to be angry about, but was there a point that you personally let go of some of the anger that characterized you as like a 19 or 21, 22, 23, or is that all still there?
Not really. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's like you understand how the world works a little more, which, makes you, think about what you're going to say more, by having a better understanding, and when you're young, sometimes you don't understand shit and you just lash at it. When you grow to understand, sometimes you feel like I can attack that in a better, more constructive way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's easy for me to go out and say, fuck the police, fuck everything, fuck the world. You know what I'm saying? But that's not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna help you is for me to be able to say, fuck the police, and here's how. You see what I'm saying? Or to be the example of how to get out the hood. Not just make a record that the hood is fucked up, but look at me, look at my career, look at what I've done. Right. That's your example. Not a record, not a movie, not one thing that I've done, but everything that I've done. So I've looked at it like that. I am the example of how to get out.
Hey, I'm Brian Hyatt, and you're listening to Rolling Stone Music Now. We're playing some of my 2015 interview with Ice Cube, and I think in this segment, he starts off by talking about his intentions for the Straight Outta Compton movie. Let's hear that.
But it's a sign of the times movie, too. It has to put the people back into the 80s, into the 90s, see why we did the music. Not just, we some young, angry, niggas out of South Central, but why do we make them kind of records is the question. Right. And I hope we answer somewhat in the movie.
The first answer for people who completely didn't understand was probably, Rodney King and the LA riots. Mm-hmm. Maybe woke up some people up, and then, past couple years, people started to become aware again that it's like there's a Rodney King every day.
Yeah, it's incredible. What's sad is that the Fuck the Police record was, I say, 400 years late. To know that it's been a constant. There's been 1,000 Rodney Kings every year that we don't hear about. And just now with technology, we able to really see these pockets of bullshit that, poor people have been dealing with forever. You know what I mean? So what's good is that what's done in the dark comes to light. And what's bad is that the shit is even done in the dark. That's kind of what's still, terrible about the situation, and still what makes our movie relevant today. Makes N.W.A. relevant today.
So growing up, is it true that Dre was just a couple houses down? Is that that close? So did you know him even as little kids, or like?
No. He moved over there after he had did his first record.
That's right.
Dr. Dre's Surgery, like 84, 85. He moved over here, and we just started hanging. And
Sir Jinx connected you? Was that?
Yeah, Sir Jinx he was one of my homeboys that we hung out. Sir Jinx actually, showed me a lot about hip hop. Hip hop was new.
Yeah.
Jinx was like advanced. He had turntables, he was scratching, he was breakdancing, he had cardboard and shit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He just was a b-boy before all of us. We were still in the Lakers and the Raiders and girls and shit. We weren't really into hip hop. And started dibbling and dabbling. We hear his beats coming out of his house and shit, and I would be interested. So I would go start hanging with Jinx a little more and start rapping. He helped me rap on beat. You know what I mean? I used to rap, but I didn't have a beat, so I just rap all over the place. So he's like, nah, you gotta catch this beat right here, and you gotta be on time. And so, we worked it, and we had a group together, a stereo crew. So we was always waiting for Dre to pop over and show him what we got. And then Dre ended up moving with Jinx. And so I saw him all the time, so we was able to really develop a cool relationship. And, he was moonlighting. He was doing records for other people on the side, beats and shit. I would help him write hooks, write little shit, and then I started helping him write songs for the record crew. And one of the songs I wrote became a local hit.
Is that Cabbage Patch?
Cabbage Patch became like a local hit. So he really had confidence in me then. So we started doing these neighborhood mixtapes, talking about the neighborhood, and it was really like the beginning of our style. And shit started catching on, and then Eazy-E got a hold of one of those tapes and kind of hunted Dre down and made that connection. So that's kind of how.
The style of I listen to you listen to CIA songs like My Posse. It's like Run DMC and a little like Beastie Boys, right?
Yeah, they was big. We was big fans of License to Ill. Big fans of Run DMC. At the time when we did that record, so Dre had us fucking in there, damn near emulating that style, but it was cool. It just wasn't the shit. The records we was doing for the mixtapes were the shit, like street records talking about the neighborhood and what's going on.
Were there sort of what you might have called reality rap songs you were doing before Boys in the Hood? That was not really the first one in that style, or
yeah, it was reality raps. Before Boys in the Hood, these were all just 16 bars at the beginning of a mixtape. It's real quick shit, nothing long. But we can say what we want to say, and we can. We knew they weren't gonna be sold nowhere, but in the neighborhood, so it was more, I guess it just made more sense to bring our thinking down to a neighborhood level instead of thinking that we're going to be the Beastie Boys and shit.
Right.
On the world tour with Mr. Malcolm McLaren and shit. You know what I mean? It was like, we didn't have no fucking thoughts of grandeur like that. It just was like, this shit gonna be hood shit. Let's talk about hood shit. And then that became our signature style.
What did you hear that was doing that kind of thing? It's at 6 a.m, right? That was
6 a.m. This is even a little before 6 a.m. I think the first thing we heard was PSK, Schoolie D, Just Ice. They had this dirty ass rap called Latoya. You know what I mean? It was like the nasty version of Lottie Dottie. And Blowfly had Rap Dirty. So it was just like these fringe raps that were X-rated.
So it's as much the dirty part as the street reality part, right? It was almost like that was first, like the fucking cursing and just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because, the thing is hip-hop, before it was all about talking about hard shit, it was like, how clever are you? How damn near funny you can be. You know what I mean? How entertaining can you be with a rap? So, to rap, people like Blowfly and shit like that was they had the style to me down pat. He was talking dirty and cussing, he was rhyming, but he was talking about some fly shit that pertained to him. So to me that style was just, it was raw, but it was perfect for him, you know.
And some of the stuff you were doing live, right? Like Diane, you had a thing. Did you have a thing called Diane? That was like Russia.
Yeah. We you know, we was gonna do a show, and Dre was like, "Man, y'all have to be clever, because just getting up there rapping, nobody want to hear that shit. Y'all gotta do something that's entertaining and clever." So what we did was take Roxanne and flipped it into this dirty rap called Diane. Shit.
Do you remember her name?
Yo, KB. Yo, what's up, man? They got that bitch they call Diane. Damn, I don't know. It was just, we took their whole rap and flipped it.
Yeah.
And the crowd went crazy. And, you know, all these things were helping us figure out what we needed to do. And then Easy just was like, I want to do those kind of records. I mean, I want to do records, but I want them to be hard and dirty. I don't want to do clean shit y'all trying to get played on the radio.
Yeah.
So,
what was your first impression of Easy?
Little hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a little hustler, like, it's like a little dope dealer to me. Just feeler, track shoot. You know, this shit was just all fresh and clean. Little jewelry on. You could just tell what somebody's doing.
Did you like him at first glance?
Mm-hmm. I admired him, you know, he was shit. Making money in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He had money. He had his clientele. He was doing this shit. Didn't ask nobody for shit. So, yeah. I dug him.
He came to Dre, as far as you know, and said, I want to do a label, or maybe start out with a record store, or is this more of a Dre? I'm curious what your version of the...
you know, all I know is, like, him and Dre was powwowing a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just was like, yeah, I'm going to start Ruthless Records. You know, so I probably had to talk to Dre on really what turned him on to do that. But, you know, Dre was like, all right. And he had this group that he was going to put on Easy's label called HBO.
Right.
And he told me to write something for him. And he didn't tell HBO what I was writing for him. So,
were you sitting in English class at high school writing that? That's the kind of legend, yeah?
Yeah, I was in a lot of classes writing that shit. Yep.
Like scribbling in a notebook while you were not paying attention?
I was writing rhymes, you know what I mean, while shit was going on, you know. It was more interesting than the English I was learning.
How you listen to that now, and it's still like a really impressive piece of work. Like there's so much going on in that, so much vivid imagery, so much life in it. Like how much of that was you know, the details were made up, or how much of it was stuff you'd observed, or how much like what
it was all, to me, neighborhood shit that we all seen, heard, or went through growing up. You know, it's like it was just accumulation of all kind of crazy shit that we kind of grew up privy to and just put in the rhyme.
And it was like, I mean, to a certain extent, there was a certain fantasy because you weren't that gangster. You were a kid who hadn't been involved in anything like a lot of that stuff.
Well, you know, it's like it's hard to grow up in South Central and be completely clean of anything.
Yeah.
So it don't matter what age you are. All that shit is affecting you. All that shit is coming right to your doorstep. You know, so you can't get out the way. You know, it's like you either embrace it or get ran over by it. So our way to embrace it not only was dealing, but was to make music too. You know, it's just hard to explain how you can't be from the neighborhoods and just come out squeaky clean. It just don't happen.
I heard you say that you had a father and an older brother, and so there was a lot of stability to kind of keep you.
Yeah, it was like more shit to deal with than gangbangers. You know what I mean? It was like you dealt with gangbangers in the street, but I was gonna have to deal with my pops 24/7. I was gonna have to deal with my brother 24/7. So fortunately, I just started doing positive shit before I really got caught up. It was like the music, doing hip hop, playing sports, basketball, football. I stayed doing shit.
Were you actually thrown out of the studio to stop laughing at Easy with all that?
Yeah, I mean, it was. It got to a point where they was in there so long. It was just like it was better for us to leave. It got abbreviated for the movie, but it got to a point where it was just better. So Drake could just focus on Easy. Easy wasn't worried about us. He wasn't worried about how he sounded. If the shit came out stupid, nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
It was like it was just all done to make him comfortable.
You created Eazy-E the rapper in that moment, and then you created someone whose solo album came out way before you got to do one and all that. That's a weird.
Yeah.
That was a weird feature of the thing, right? Is that the Easy Does It came out like 3 months, I think, before Straight Outta Compton. Did you, at the time, did that start to ring alarm bells for you, or was it you were just happy to? What was your thoughts on it?
It was dope. It was like he was the star that we, all created, so to speak. And, he was blowing up. And, with N.W.A, he was actually spreading the love. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm blowing up. Now, if I'm blowing up and then I'm part of this crew, then the crew gonna blow up with me. So it was just, that's how it happened. We was just happy somebody out the damn crew was blowing up.
Right.
And that we wasn't gonna be just stuck as locals.
How much of his rhymes were you writing?
At the beginning, mostly all of them. And then as the albums start coming, Ren started writing some, and then DOC. So it was between us three.
And did you have like a character in mind for him, because you definitely wrote differently for him than you would write for yourself? It feels like.
Yeah, I mean he kind of had his own persona that was, people used to think he was 15 for a long time, So it's like he was damn near like not really like a cartoon image, but you could do anything, we had a Gumby fucking rhyme, He was once a thug from around.
Right.
So it was like, that Easy name was just like something you could play with, fuck with, Remind me of Bootsy or somebody. It was like, you could...
That's a good comparison. I like that. Yeah.
It was just that name where you could do anything with it. He could have been a fucking action figure or whatever he wanted to do with that.
Right.
It was the perfect persona to play with. It was bad, but it was, vivid. Like a Chucky doll or something. It's just like, just this fucking thing that's, got a life of its own.
At some point, though, you split and went to college for a while.
Yeah. I just... West Coast hip-hop at the time was just so in its infancy. We never knew we was going to come off the launching pad. We never knew it was going to blow. So I wanted to have something to fall back on. And going to a technical trade school was the best thing to do.
And then you came back, and then like, what was the situation with the records at that point? Like, what? Because
shit was blowing up.
Yeah,
you know, everybody was doing shows. We had setting up tours and all kind of stuff. So it was in full swing when I got back.
it was actually after you'd already recorded Straight Outta Compton at that point, or no? No, you recorded.
I got back.
You recorded N.W.A. and the Posse. You recorded, and then
those were
yeah.
N.W.A. and the Posse wasn't really an album. It was just all of our singles they put together.
Right. Got it.
And some of our guys that we was associated with. So that was never really a sanctioned N.W.A. album. It was more of a record company's compilation. Mm-hmm. You know, so the album when I got back, they were starting to work on Easy Does It.
Right.
And from there we went from Easy Does It straight to Straight Outta Compton.
Your high school, were you bussed into like a white neighborhood?
Yeah, I was bussed into the San Fernando Valley.
Uh-huh.
So like 30 miles or something.
It was a 30-mile bus ride?
Some shit like that, 25, 30
Damn.
miles.
Every day?
Every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
That's really far. So, and not, I mean, far geographically and also far culturally, right?
Yeah.
What did you take away from seeing that?
Damn, we really are poor. Shit. I was doing pretty good. We really don't have shit in our neighborhoods. It was like going to the Brady Bunch every day, to be honest. Like, going to the Partridge Family. It's like jumping in a bus full of black kids from the hood into these white schools. A little culture shock, but after a while you was able to deal.
I think you once used the word injustice to talk about what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the haves and the have-nots. You just see everything's better. From books to classrooms to facilities to teachers. It's like everything was better out there than going there to Washington, my local school. I don't think I would have had a perspective I have on things if I just went to the school in the hood. I wouldn't be as, worldly in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's normal. I think that's what helped me be able to deal with Jerry Heller.
Uh-huh.
There was no intimidation factor at all. He looked like one of my bullshit history teachers and shit.
I wonder if did it also help you maybe to be suspicious of him from the start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it made me know how to deal with white people. You know what I'm saying? In the hood, you don't come across them, you don't know how to deal with them. It just made me realize that, we pretty much all the same. It's nothing different or new. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Real shit is real shit, bullshit is bullshit.
Uh-huh. And there's your sort of actual experience with police harassment. Mm-hmm. How consistent was that? When did it? How old were you when it started?
It's just I don't know nobody from the hood who ain't really been fucked with by the police at some point. And when you're in the hood, they get you early. They start fucking with you when you're 9, 10. Just to put that intimidation in you. Just to start intimidating you at an early age and make sure they fuck with you. Even whether you did nothing or not. It's just like, we gotta make sure we're imprinting our fucking stamp on these young dudes that we might have to deal with when they get a little older. So, they start at an early age fucking with you. Pulling you off your bike, make you put your hands on the hood. You be sitting, fucking 9, 10-year-olds sitting on the grass, just play football. This motherfucker swoop up and fuck with you. Yeah. And it just happens all through your fucking life. You know what I mean? Until you either get out the neighborhood or, you know, whatever you do. But it's just, as a teenager, it just happened all the fucking time. All the time. Even recording the records was get fucked with in torrents.
Just like in the movie, is it?
Just like in the movie.
Yeah.
Just fucking with you. You know? Fucking with you if you bad, fucking with you if you good. It don't matter.
I mean, it's easy to, not to point out the obvious, but it's like, you know, the police are the most visible representative just of like you're basically being told, they're like society itself, right? They're like the representative. They're supposed to be keeping, purportedly, you know, keeping peace, you know, enforcing the law. And what you're being told from 9 and 10 is that society is against you, that you're not. I mean, it's you know, it's a profound and fucked up thing if you really.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's systematic. You know, it's like make sure you fucking put a good imprint. You know what I mean, on these young ones, so they know to fucking be scared of you when they get older. But you keep having these incidents, and this fear turns into resentment, frustration, and hatred. You know, that's what it turned into.
When fuck the police itself. By one account, you had like maybe the chorus or a little bit of it, and Dre at first wasn't necessarily into it at first. Do you remember that?
Well, Dre he had to go and do weekends in the county, so he didn't want them. He was like, man, we ain't about to do this song. I gotta go to the county every fucking weekend, and I'm not about to give these motherfuckers no extra room to fuck me up in jail.
Right.
So he didn't want to do it at that time until he I guess got off of that weekend furlough, whatever the fucking shit is, weekend something. You gotta go to jail every Friday, get out every Monday. It's like weekend jail. So while he was doing that, he didn't want to have nothing to do with the song. But you know, months later, when I brought it back up, he wasn't under that condition or whatever. So he was with it.
There's a certain bravery in the lyrics of that song. I mean, I don't know to what extent you thought it was even going to be heard, you know, how widely you thought it was going to be heard. But, you know, like you're literally threatening. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, in some sense you must have known that you couldn't have predicted that the FBI was going to write you a letter, but in some sense you must have known it would stir up some shit in some way or another.
I remember recording a song and Ren looked at me and said, out of all our songs, this one right here gonna start some shit. So it's like we had a sense that's what we wanted to do. Well, it's like, why do it?
Right.
If the song ain't gonna make the police mad, why the fuck do it?
To call it Straight Outta Compton, to make that such a big part of your identity and the songs, like, what's the thought behind that?
Well, I mean, at the time, everybody was calling out their hoods. If you was from a borough, you know, it was Brooklyn's in the house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Bronx, yeah. Down Bronx, money making Manhattan. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, uptown. Everybody was talking shit about where they from.
But it was all New York.
It's all New York. Yeah, that's right. And that's what Easy's whole thing is. We got to put Compton on the map.
Right.
You know, that was his whole fucking thing, that even people in L.A. was embarrassed to say they was from Compton. Compton was just like, yo, the worst of the worst.
Uh-huh.
So Easy was like, man, I'm gonna be proud of Compton. So he wanted to put Compton on the map from day one. He was like, man, motherfuckers yelling all that Brooklyn shit all the time. Motherfuckers yelling the Bronx. Motherfuckers is yelling out their hoods. Let's yell out Compton. So that was kind of like how it happened.
There was also a sense that, like, just West Coast hip hop in general needed to be established much more strongly, right? It felt like,
yeah, you know, Ice-T had done a lot to bridge the gap, but it was still, still a lot of work needed to be done. Somebody else needed to solidify what he was doing a little bit. A whole nother group with a whole nother flavor that had music that was, worldwide or nationwide or whatever. So, it's a sense of pride, but not to where we was saying, what we doing is better, or it was more like, look at us too. We wanted to be accepted into the hip hop nation